Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Uneducation Station. Of course, I am Zach, and I'm here with my co-host, Arthur.
I am the co-host, Arthur.
Well, you are host, and I am host.
Together we are hostess.
You are the hostess with the mostest, Arthur. You always have been and always will be. So anyways, just kind of right off the gate, I did want to talk about this a little bit.
Sure.
So the shirts that
we're
going
to bring them up. I thought we were just not going to talk about it, honestly.
Well, I did have to acknowledge it because Brittany bought us these. Because
Brittany being your girlfriend.
Yeah. She was at the mall and she saw these shirts and she was like, I need to get these for the homies for.
Does she have one as well?
So she ended up getting a different anime shirt. I think it was also Demon Slayer. I didn't ask, but yeah, she got us Demon Slayer shirts and they're freaking awesome.
If she got Kano, I'm going to be upset and I'm going to steal that shirt from her. I hope you know that, Zach. I'm sorry. I know she's your girlfriend, but I'm going to take that shirt from her. I'll give her this one, though. And then you guys can have matching shirts. And it'd be great. But then I'd have a Kano shirt and I'll be happy. But I know Kano is not popular yet. So probably not a shirt like this of her in a mainstream store, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. But also, in other news, you did end up getting a new phone.
Boy, transitions. Yes, I did. Nice segue. All right. I did get, so I mentioned it before about getting the Pro 13 because finally, for once, it actually intrigued me.
Yeah.
And that's saying a lot because I call myself a power user personally. Like I'm the type of, do I even want to, okay, let me see if it shows it. I'm going to, let's get a live reading on my screen time. Where would they be under display? Question mark?
I think so. Yeah.
We know it's its own thing, right? Okay, iOS 15. I'm not used to iOS 15 yet because I've been jailbroken for a while. So I've been on iOS 13 for literally basically my entire time using an iPhone.
Yeah.
And I only just recently got to iOS 15 and everything is different. Screen time, it does have its own thing. 11 hours from, daily average 11 hours on time.
Daily average.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah, that's what I've been told. I've gotten higher. So I mean a lot of it is also idle on, but I would say 90% of it I'm using my phone.
Yeah.
And this is overall. I didn't just I just opened this last night. It's not like I just all right, cool, 11 hours right at last night. No, I carried over because I transferred all my data into here, which is very nice and it's very seamless. I didn't even need to sign into anything other than LastPass, so it was great. And it's nice, and it's gotten a lot better. I remember when I transferred my Pixel 2 XL to my iPhone 10R, it was, and oh my gosh, it was a nightmare. Wait, no. What did I do? I transferred my iPhone 6 to my Pixel 2 XL.
Oh,
and I had to, they didn't really have because nowadays when you enter setup, and I think you probably did this, maybe, did you do a fresh install or did you just transfer?
So I ended up transferring most of my stuff. And the nice thing is that I had a lot of stuff backed up to like Google Photos and like all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was really cool because the way that they had it set up was you can transfer data between Android and iOS devices a lot more seamlessly than you used to.
It's because during the setup, it just says, do you want to install fresh, install from iCloud backup, install from I think a computer backup or something, or install from another phone, an iPhone, and then install from an Android. And then you just do that. And I think Android, what you did, because I think I did this similar, you had to install an app or something like that. Or I don't know it might be different now because 2XL, it's been a while. But yeah, it just asks if you want to do it. Sure, it'll take like 30, 45 minutes. That's respectable. And it just clones everything. And it's like, it's literally like this has been my phone the entire time. I don't have to re-sign into anything other than like I said, my LastPass. And I also have to call and get or verify, authorize my cards for Apple Pay again.
Oh, okay.
But that makes sense, right? You should do that. But yeah, it's been nice. I've just using it for now, and I gotta say, so I had the 11 before. I don't have it on me right now, but I love the 11, you know? And the only difference for all these years between the base model iPhone, like iPhone 11, for example, or iPhone 12, and the Pro version, the iPhone 11 Pro or the 12 Pro, literally is like the display, because you get an OLED and I think a 4K panel, or at least a 1440p panel, I believe, so the screen and camera array. You just get a telephoto lens.
Yeah.
And that's $300 more for the base model of the Pro. And every time it's been like, it's like, because you get the same SoC, the same CPU, basically, the same Apple chip. So there's literally no reason to ever get the Pro. So it's never interested me. And as a power user myself, I didn't even care for the Pro.
Yeah.
And then come along the 13, and we talked about it before, I think. It has some cool stuff now. And I'm more interested in the software things that are going to be baked on it immediately, and software things to come through software updates that I would get more mileage out of if I got the Pro instead. Yeah. And I did the thing that you did, and I bought it through my carrier. So I basically got it for free. Not free. I'm still going to pay it monthly, but if it's through my carrier and I'm stuck with them for 2 years, it's whatever. But if I had to be stuck with them for 2 or 3 years, I wanted a good one. Yeah. And I got a Pro. So there you go.
Oh, sick rhymes.
Sick rhymes.
Yeah. So some of the things that I heard about the 13 Pro, I mean, obviously they were mostly kind of camera related because, photo boy. But I've heard that the cinematic video stuff that phone has is pretty good.
I wouldn't say pretty good. The AI is really good. The AI is very impressive in distinguishing. We watched the video, I think, where it showed like when people look away, it changes the focus, and obviously that's still artificial bokeh. Yeah, it's portrait mode, and it just applies portrait mode against certain faces depending on what it's looking. So it's not an actual focal range.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think something that I've been super impressed with lately has been the fact that they are able to not necessarily remedy, but try to do more in the software to make up for the hardware issues. Like, it's a tiny little sensor. And so it's like, it does some pretty cool shit for such a tiny little camera that goes on the back of your phone. And I think that that's really dope.
Yeah, it is really dope because what we're getting at right now, I just took a little video and I'm showing Zach it now. It is really cool. And that's what intrigued me, because to be able to do this, Zach, with the tiny sensor that it has and with just its software, it's software intelligence and all that. That's what intrigues me more, because not the performance necessarily of the cinematic mode, because as you saw, it's cool for until you start looking closely and okay, yeah, you can kind of see the feathering around it. And, it's sometimes the thing that I want to focus. I mean, it's better with humans. Like I was just trying with these objects in front of me, and the objects aren't even faced towards me, so that makes it harder. But it's impressive in a software basis. And that's what intrigues me more, because that I've always said, I look more towards the potential of things rather than what it's immediately in front of me. Yeah. Which is why, as a lead of a team, I don't necessarily look towards the most popular editors or the most known editors or anything. I look for what I can get out of. Okay, that sounds bad. What I can do for them to help them grow and become something something better.
Yeah. And one thing that I will say, I know I just handed you your phone back, but can I see it?
Yeah,
really
quick? So I'm not going to throw this one, unfortunately. I do not have a rhino skin, which is, by the way, I would love to have a Rhino Shield sponsor on this. I feel like that's an end goal, or a D brand sponsor, because they have their grip skin. One of the two, we'll see. But we gotta get sponsors first. But I know that's a manual thing. I need to start sending emails and stuff. But that's besides the point.
So one thing that I will say that I like about this phone, that I liked a lot about the older phones, is just the way that it's built. And I mean, some people are really against the harsh ends and all of that kind of stuff. But for me, You know, especially if you're running it without a case on it, it feels really nice to like have those corners to hold on to, because like with my phone without a case, it was like a death trap essentially. It felt like I was gonna drop my phone every 45 seconds.
Well, not even that. Like for me, I had an iPhone 11, and so another difference between the iPhone or the base model and the Pro model is you get a stainless steel rim rather than an aluminum rim, and that's just ends up being more durable, although it's more prone to fingerprints. But you know,
whatever.
It feels more premium, and that's what I'm getting at. It no longer feels like I'm holding a toy.
Yeah,
it feels like I'm holding a substantial piece of tech. I'm more confident with this.
Yeah,
you know, and I'm more confident in my pocket, and the sharper, rounder edges definitely have a more natural grip, rather than something like having to get a case that has a grip, you know. And obviously, I will get, and I'm going to get a case. I already ordered that Rhino Shield case, you know, so it's coming in. Yeah. So I can chuck my phone again. Which, by the way, again, if Rhino Shield or D-Brand ever wants to sponsor the grip case or the Rhino Shield case, the best cases I've ever used, because you see me, I'm chucking my phone, Zach.
Yeah.
I'm so confident I would even chuck this phone inside one of those. I'm that confident in it.
You know, I think that that's really cool that you found a case, and I haven't really had a chance to try out those cases.
You're
in
gonna
particular.
love them, Zach.
Just because I honestly haven't really been too particular about the cases I put on my phone, because I'm usually pretty nice to my phones. But you, on the other hand, you are really really
I don't just go around walking around chucking my phone at people, Zach.
No,
it's just,
I know.
You know, things happen. I'm a clumsy guy, but I try to be careful. But you know, when you're in a hurry and when you're tired as fuck all the time, and you're doing things, you know, and I'm a busy dude. I go around. If I'm not reading manga, you know, I'm running around everywhere.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and having that case that you can feel really confident in, and the fact that you're talking about throwing around your 13 Pro, I think that is a good testament to like the quality of their cases. But anyways, yeah, give us a call. We'll be sending you emails.
Yes.
But yeah, it's really interesting, because when you have something that you put in your pocket that feels substantial, you know, it's not like, you know, if it doesn't really feel like I need to be super delicate with this thing. Why is my phone updating right now? Anyway, you know, it's you know, it's not something that I feel like I need to be super gentle with. Obviously, it's a light phone, and you know, this isn't the Pro or the Ultra or whatever, but you know, it still feels like it has some heft to it, and so it doesn't feel like it's gonna break.
Oh yeah,
immediately.
I mean, it will, but you feel more confident in the hands with it. That's what I'm saying. Because like if I had a 13 and a 13 Pro in both hands, and I drop them, they're both probably going to crack or something. You know, they're both built generally the same way, other than, you know, the 13 will have aluminum rim, I think, however way that goes. But you feel more confident. That's what I'm saying, you know? It's a psychological thing. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, and like that's exactly the point that I was trying to make, is that, you know, there was a long time where everyone was like, we need to make our phones lighter and smaller and thinner and all that kind of stuff. And I think, I mean, it could have been potentially after the iPhone 6 Plus,
the bend,
the bend gate of, what was it, like 2014, 2015
I believe
or whatever.
So yeah.
But you know, at that point, everyone was trying to get as small as humanly possible and all of that kind of stuff, and then it kind of became
keep talking, Zach.
It kind of became like, okay, now we need to make sure that they're not gonna fucking break. 2014, yeah.
It's like, yeah, man. I remember this video too.
Dude, I watched this video when it came out.
Dude, it's tough, man.
Yeah.
Because it's not built with the materials that we used back then. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, of course. I'm not checking it. You can fact check me easily. But I'm pretty sure they're still made of aluminum, you know? And aluminum is a very bendable material. And even if it wasn't, even if it was a stronger, maybe not steel, but something, you know, when it's so thin, it can bend.
Yeah.
And if anything, I'm more surprised that the glass isn't cracked, but it does, I think. Maybe not immediately. I can't remember. But, you know, it's when I think what happened, I think it kept going and then it went backwards because I know we didn't start seeing heavier phones until around the 10.
Yeah.
Because that's when people are like, or, you know, companies like Apple are like, okay, we're going to get bigger batteries back, you know, and that is when, or the 10S specifically, the 10S and the 10R is when, and I mentioned this before, is when batteries on iPhones start to get better because iPhones have been notorious for terrible battery.
Yeah.
Like from I'm 6, I remember the 6, I couldn't even last a whole day without charging it, you know?
Yeah.
And 7s that my cousins have, like they're constantly like 10% battery. You got a charger? I'm like, come on, man. And then I got a 2XL and I never worried about it.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, the 2XL battery was but that's besides the point. It's been a thing. And then after the 10R, I know that because I got the 10R because of this reason. You can last a whole day with the battery.
Yeah.
So have a couple bit of charge. And then at that point, that 10R was like substantially heavier. You know, and the 10R kind of had the same, or the 11 ended up having basically the same exact build as the 10R, other than like just different placements of the antenna, whatever. Nobody cares. But it's heavier, and it's not the iPhone 6, 7, and 8 that we're used to. Yeah. It's a thing on your hand, and that much helps with kind of recognizing what kind of tech you have in your possession. Because before, I mean, if you have an iPhone 7 and you're flipping it around, and you know, it's like a toy.
Yeah.
But you forget how powerful these things are in your pockets. We've established this before, you know? Like these are computers. Yeah. It's some people's only computers. It's some people's only means of accessing the internet.
Yeah. And I think that's definitely the craziest part. Is that we have such powerful machines that we can carry around with us every day. And that's super dope. Like, I was sitting talking to my dad, and I was like, I think he put it really into perspective for me that we carry around phones in our pockets that are exponentially more powerful than the computers that sent men to the moon. Mm-hmm. You know, like that's insane. And I mean, you know, this was when smartphones were first starting. Mm-hmm. Is when my dad told me this. You know, this is when the first iPhone came out. You know, the first Samsung Galaxy came out. And ever since then, it's just gotten exponentially more powerful. And so now you can use your phone as your main computing device. Mm-hmm. And it won't... Obviously, the experience is different from, you know, using like a tablet or a computer or anything like that. But you have the ability to basically do every single thing that you may need to do as far as computing power. You just have it in your pocket. You use it to scroll Twitter, you know,
Google, emails, docs, sheets. You can play games on your phone. You know, you can do basically everything on your phone that you would ever need on a computer. The game I play, Genshin Impact, Zach, I can play that on my phone. I could edit on my phone if I really wanted to. Maybe not Call of Duty edit, maybe not the montage stuff, but I can, and some people do, you know, they edit stuff on their phone, like videos and stuff. And I mean, if they may not even need to do YouTube videos, you know, like TikTok and Vine or, you know, Vine and stuff back then, even back then, you know, they were editing those type of videos on, I don't know if it was exactly on Vine, but maybe on a secondary editing app, right?
Yeah.
But you can do that because your phones are super powerful now. So I find it intriguing. And at a certain point, at this point, you know, as long as you get any type of modern phone that isn't necessary, it doesn't have to necessarily be like the budget versions, you know, like the A series that you got. And my dad, I mentioned he got an A series too, and he didn't like it. So
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I said in the video, because we're talking about that, we're talking about the A series that you got, and then you switch over to the 21, the Galaxy A series, by the way. And I think still for most people, maybe not most people, but for a general population, the older population, maybe, you know, the ones who will literally only call and text and Facebook, I guess.
Yeah.
That phone's fine for them, probably. Yeah. But if you do any more, because my dad uses his phone for work too, right? You know? He was like, yeah, it's just a piece of shit. So he got an iPhone. It's so funny. He got an SE because just got it for free from his carrier.
That's funny.
So he just got that's so funny. And he's never had an iPhone, so I find that hilarious.
Dude, I think the funniest part of that is like I was sitting here talking about like, oh man, this phone kind of sucks for what I use it for. And then your dad was like, man, this phone sucks for what I use it for. And then, I feel like that would be the type of phone that I would get for my mom to introduce her.
I'm
to,
still rooting for that phone. It's a very, like I mentioned before, it's a very important phone to get yourself into the higher line, or I guess the mainstream line, if you will. Yeah. You get the A series to go on to the Galaxy. You get the iPhone SE to go on to the 13 Pro or something,
Yeah.
Maybe not actually. I think that SE has the same exact SoC. Oh, so many freaking acronyms. I'm sorry. The iPhone SE, the new one, right?
Mm-hmm.
not the old one.
I was about to say the one from like 2015.
No. The new one, right, has the same exact body as the iPhone 8. So it's nice. It's a good feel in the hands. The button is amazing, by the way. I handled, I guess, my dad's phone, and it's like, this is great. It feels modern, Like the iPhone 8 is like old and spongy and stuff. I'm not even talking about the home button at this point. Like you hold the iPhone 8 and you're like, yeah, this is an old piece of tech. You hold the SE, and even though it's the same exact build, you're like, I feel way more confident with this.
Yeah.
But then it has the same exact SoC as I think the iPhone 10 or 11. So it's just as powerful.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, okay. So I think the SE was an interesting move because now it's just as powerful as the current iPhones that you can buy, but it's a lot cheaper, which is interesting.
And you have a home button.
You have a home button, which then turns it into a phone that you can recommend to the older generation.
Yeah.
Because
the swipe gestures are definitely a little bit confusing to get used to if you're going from a tactile button to no button.
Dude, my grandma has one, and I'm like, why? She barely know. I mean, she knows how to do it now, right? But even then, like, she knows how to go from home from app to home. That's what she uses it for, right?
Yeah.
But there's so much more to do with the swipe gesture. So I'm just like, so I'm glad the SE is here for that generation. And I told my dad, like, because she got her 11 as a gift, so it ended up in her hands. And I told my dad, you should just like get her an SE, give the 11 to like Alvin or something, my brother Alvin or something, right? And just do that so that way she can have a home button. And, it's not like she needs the power of an 11. The SE has the power of the 11, so just give her a home button. But it's interesting. I think, but what I'm trying to get at, Zach, is that if you buy any modern phone, usually it will do the job.
Right.
And very well.
Yeah.
I mean, why do people buy used phones if you buy any phone in like the last 2 to 3 years, you can probably hold on to that phone for like 5 or 10 years.
Dude,
you won't get any more updates, security updates or anything, but most people don't care. Some people are still rocking like iPhone 8s and stuff, And I think now, if you have a 7 or an 8, maybe even a 10, no, I think 10's okay. If you have a 6, 7, or 8, God help you if you have a 6.
Oh, God.
If you have an 8 or below, and I'm just not talking about years now. I'm not really talking like, what was the Samsung counterpart to the 8? Like the S8, S7?
I think it was the S8.
Right?
Yeah.
That would make sense, right? Around that area, right? If you get a phone today, let's say you get an iPhone 13 or S21, you can hold on to these two phones for like another 5-10 years because they're that powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, and the future proofing that you start to see with these phones is really, really satisfying, and it makes me really happy because, there was a while where iPhone was kind of crippling their phones with software so that you would go and try to upgrade to the next best thing. And, the hardware that you see in phones now is just substantially better. And so as far as me getting a new phone anytime soon, I don't think so. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I was rocking the Note 8 until I got the iPhone XS, and that was I used the XS for like 2 years. I used the S8 for like 3 years, and so it's kind of like I'm one of those people where I'll hold on to a phone for like a while unless I need to get a new phone. And the reason why I didn't use the S8 for even longer is because the screen took a shit because it cracked somehow. And the only reason why I'm not using the 10s is because I switched carriers. Honestly, if I would have stuck with the phone line that I was on before, I probably would still be using the 10s. Just because it was a good phone. It did exactly what I needed it to do, and it did a damn good job doing it. And, you know, the S21 is probably going to last me a solid 4 or 5 years. Hopefully. That's what I'm hoping.
The only reason why I would upgrade is I did the 13 Pro for future proofing. You know, because I'm just like, all right, I'm going to sit on this phone. But I learned the power of buying phones through your carrier. So the only reason why I would upgrade my phone now is through my carrier, because I would get it for free. So it's like, why not?
Yeah.
You may as well. Because the deal that my carrier did, I think every carrier did for the new iPhone, is that if you had an 11 or newer and it was in good condition, you can get a 13 Pro for free.
Fuck.
Free. Because you get $1,000 off. That's the Pro, $999. I mean, and then there's there's fees and then a tax, right? So then you got to pay that. So it's like, what, $100 for the Pro?
Yeah.
There you go. You know, so that's the only reason why I upgrade now.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if it wasn't through my carrier, thank you. I'm on 2 now. If it wasn't for my carrier, and I had mentioned before, I would have bought the 13 Pro anyways, because I finally intrigued by it. And then if I wasn't through my carrier and I bought it fresh, I'd probably stick with this phone for like 5 years, 10 years, maybe not 10 years, 5 years, you know?
Yeah.
I would hold on to this because I'm finally confident in it.
Right. And I think a good idea or a good ideology is to consider future proofing, because the more money that you invest now, especially with where tech is right now, the more that you'll be able to get out of it in the long run. And that's why I got a S21 instead of like an S20 or like, you know, a S9 or whatever. And that's why I'm planning on, you know, getting a new graphics card for my computer and like getting more RAM and doing that kind of stuff, because it's like I want to be able to have what I have and then just be able to like stick with it for a while.
Sure. But I'd say future proofing is good and you should. God.
Bar.
Jeez. Come on, man.
Put on a Nezuko shirt and you're just spitting fucking bars.
3. So,
excuse me.
Bless you. And it is good, but I think we might be giving off the wrong message, so let me fix that. What we're not saying is to negate everything we've said in the past and say, buy the newest thing. Because I realize that's what it's sounding like.
Yeah.
No, but you should look into what it is that you're getting that is the brand newest thing.
Yeah.
So, for example, I mentioned that if you buy anything past the 10S, you'll be set. So it's up to you to decide how much money you want to spend. Bless you. Ah, there it is. Double. Prepare for trouble. Make it double. 4. You can get a 10S, I'd say, even today and be happy.
Yeah.
Basically.
100%. Yeah.
Which means that you have from the 10S to the 13 to decide where you want to sit.
Yeah.
And if you go from the 13 down to the 10S, the price will scale respectively downwards. So that's where that investment you make is. So what I'm not saying is buy the 13, you'll be set forever. No, you can buy it. Well, you'll never be set forever, but you'll be set for a while. You can buy a 12 and you'll be set for a while. 11, you'll be set for a while. You can buy an S20 and be set for a while. An S10. The difference now from Android is because, not because, sorry, wrong word. The difference in Android now is Android, you only get software updates for 2 years, I believe.
I don't know if that is true now.
I believe it is.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. Maybe they changed it recently. But it is to my understanding that that's what it was. And iPhones are 4 years. And that's been the number one crippling thing now for Android. That's like it's just software. I mean, it'll still work, but you just won't get the newest Android.
Yeah.
You know, you won't get Android 16. What are they on now?
I don't even know.
They're on 12. Right? Yeah, I think they're on 12. But
I don't know. I just got a software update.
But to most people, you won't do that, but I'm pretty sure you might still get security updates. But even if that's no more, I mean, you should probably be fine. But that's what I'm saying. I know a lot of my friends who are like tech enthusiasts, they still have like S10s. You know, and I think as far as that goes, they're fine with it, you know? So I'd say for that idea, what I'm not saying is buy the S21 Ultra and then be set forever. Because yes, you will. I can buy the 13 Pro Max and then, you know, probably never buy a phone for like 5 years. But I didn't.
Yeah.
That same idea. I could have bought the 13 and be set forever, but I decided to treat myself to the Pro. And, you know, because of the circumstance that I was in, buy through my carrier, just promotion, you know, just might as well, you know, you may as well. No reason for me to get the 13 if I could get the 13 Pro for marginally not the right word, for just a little bit more. If I bought it base, $699 to $999. That's pretty rough. How about $0 to $100? Sounds a little better.
Yeah. And also, by the way, we're on Android version 11.
You might have to manually update to 12. That might be it. Because you have to manually update to go to the next the next OS version. It doesn't just auto.
I think you're right.
Yeah, so you would have to see about it. I think I saw a video on it like the other day. Hold on, I'm freaking out now. Did I spell that right? Yeah, and yeah, Android 12. Oh, there's Linus right. Look at him. He's doing shit, bro. Look at Linus. He's freaking doing the thing.
He's doing tech tips
He's
and
doing
shit.
the thing. So is Marquez. He's tapping and shit. And then I think if you had I think the S10 now, because it went 10 to 20 to 21, right?
Yeah.
So I think the 10 might not have the Android 12, to my understanding. But I could be wrong because I'm no longer deep into the smartphone conversation anymore. Not to that level, at least, because I was more into it when I was looking for a phone myself.
Yeah.
Because, you know, doing all the research and stuff. Now what I get at is if I happen to watch a smartphone video, which isn't really in my feed anymore.
Yeah. Also, we are not a news channel.
Oh, we're not a news channel. I don't know if we ever mentioned that before in the history of this show, but we're not. And I think we should start mentioning that more because the way we've structured this show, Zach, is that you can watch at any point. It's not really chronological order type thing. There's no storyline or anything.
Yeah.
You could start and watch any episode you want in any order you want, generally.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe someone misses an episode. Oh, this is a news channel. No, it's not a news channel. We do not report on the news. We do not have anything. We have a scene up to look up things if we want to, but that's more for visual aid. Sorry, audio listeners.
Perpetually confused as always.
But we do not. I'm not looking things up unless I really want to. But that's more for my satisfaction rather than to be
factually accurate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it is to be factually accurate, but that's if I care at the moment.
Yeah.
But this is a conversation with the boys. That's all.
Yeah.
What you might get out of a conversation if you're if we were on the couch and you were also sitting on the couch.
Yeah. And I love that. That's kind of the dynamic that our show has become. It's just kind of us sitting down and having just a normal conversation between the two of us, because it's like it doesn't necessarily matter a whole lot. I mean, obviously, you know, there's a difference between getting something wrong and like just being a dumbass and like being like, this is 100% true.
Yeah, but if we're sitting on the couch talking with our family or something and we're having a conversation about something, I mean, we might, but usually we're not pulling out our phones to fact check ourselves every sentence we make.
Yeah.
You know, it's just we're chatting our shit. And then if I say something and then Bobby in the corner goes, oh, that's actually not right. And then he corrects me. I'm like, oh, okay, I got you. Because he did more research. Fucking Bobby. He did more research on that. And then Bobby will say something. I'll be like, oh, actually, shut the fuck up, Bobby, piece of fucking shit. Why are you here? And then I'll correct him. And then
politely.
I will do it politely. I'm paraphrasing. I paraphrase when I say that. And then that's how that would go. And that's kind of just the dynamic of our show.
Yeah. Fucking bars.
Oh my God, I'm pretty sure I've used the O rhyme like 4 times.
Oh no.
That doesn't count.
Here we go.
There it is. Oh no. Oh gosh. I don't even know where I'm at right now as far as just being awake or tired, because I mentioned before the show that I mentioned before the show that I've been having a rough week as far as just being busy. I've been doing everything, staying up really late, having to go to work in the morning. Life's been rough, Zach. And I was asleep the entire Thursday.
Dude, I love that you were struggling so hard this week because...
Fuck you.
No.
Fuck you, Zach. Fuck you. Okay, I see how it is. You fucking piece of shit.
No, it's because...
I'm glad you sat in traffic to go to work for 3 days, Zach. Fuck you.
No, what I was gonna say is I had an equally rough week, and so I'm glad that we can sit here and mutually suffer, and just sit here and be like, what a time to be alive. But I'm glad that we both kind of get to sit back, relax, and talk about random shit.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could rant more about work, but these days I get a little too afraid that it can be used against me. So, But I mean, the reason why I've been awake and stuff is not because of necessarily my job. Well, it is because of my job, but the reason why it was rough was not because of their fault. It was my fault for applying there in the first place. I'm joking. No. It's just been, most people know by now, I'm not really a morning person, and I've had to work in the morning for this week, and it's like,
you're like, I want to die.
I want to die. Thank God I have my AirPod Pros with active noise cancel. Actually, I can't do that. Like, I have to put on transparent mode because I have to listen to things around me in case my boba doesn't overflow. And it overflowed, by the way, TLDR. I'm not even gonna talk about it, Zach. I'm just gonna leave everybody in confusion. It'll just be something that we know. Because it was just not a rough day. And I cut my finger too, and I'm upset about it. I still don't know how, by the way, but I'll explain this though. So imagine this, a knife, and I have a can. And this can is like a soda can where it has a pop-up thingy, and then you go, to open it.
It's like a can of beans. No, not a can of beans.
Just a can of Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it has a thing you pop up, and then you to use to pry it open. Okay. To pry itself open, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like a can of Coca-Cola, sponsored. Or a can of G Fuel. Am I right, boys? Haha. And it broke off because, of course, it did. How does it do that? I don't know. I don't know. I didn't even know how that's possible, Zach. I didn't even put that much pressure. I just pop, and then just popped off. I'm like, well, fuck me then. I guess I'll just fuck myself. So I had to grab a knife, and then I just tried to stab it through, right, so that I could pry it open, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I finished doing that, and here, I'll give you a visual representation. Sorry, audio listeners. I'm stabbing it like this. All right, cool. Put the knife down. I got it through. Looked at my hand, and it's bleeding on the tip of my finger. At what point, Zach, with my finger all the way up here, did I cut my fingertip 3 times?
I don't know. Also, I can close the knife if you want.
Please do. I can't do it.
Wait, shit.
So, I don't know.
I love disembodied hand.
So, I don't know what happened. And it didn't even hurt immediately. I was just pissed. I was like, really?
I hate that shit so much where it's like, you're not even in pain. You're just frustrated that you injured yourself. Like, oh my gosh, dude. Like, I work with dogs, and cats and other animals, and I'll get scratched and it won't even hurt, and I'm like, you little fucker. You know, it's not even like, ow, this hurts. It's like, how the fuck did this happen?
It's like, seriously? So it's in the tip of my fingertip.
Yeah.
So this Band-Aid I have on my finger can't even cover it. So the only thing it's doing right now is protecting it in case I do stuff like this. So it's so inconvenient, Zach. That's all it is. Dude, and there's nothing worse in life than inconveniences, minor inconveniences, like the smallest things that will ruin your daily workflow. Like having to do handiwork or something, and you have a splinter in your thumb that won't come out.
Yeah.
The worst things. It's the simplest things, but it causes issues.
Did you know that you can get splinters by hair? Like hair can get stuck into your skin?
I know hair can get stuck into your skin, but I didn't know does it cause pain?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never had that. Well, my hair is falling out, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the reason why I know that is because obviously I deal with a lot of very coarse hair. And also, you know.
Perhaps doggy hair and cat hair is a little bit more different than the human hair?
Yeah. Yeah, so I just get like, especially like in between my fingers, and it's the most obnoxious thing in the world.
That's tough.
It's like, I hate you.
I feel that.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at my arm because I got clawed to shit on Thursday. That was fun. And it was by this dog that just hated life, apparently. And we just needed to get sutures out of it, and she was just not having it.
Well, it's tough, man, because you can't just tell them that that's all you're doing.
Yeah, I wish.
Listen, calm down. I'm just taking it out, but to them, they're like, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, it's like, oh god, they're gonna cut it open again. Yeah, that's the hardest thing I would say with working with animals is I can't, you know, if I'm taking stitches out of your hand, I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna take these sutures out,
and I'll be like, yeah, okay,
yeah, you'll
I won't be like, oh god, no,
please don't die. But then, you know, when you're dealing with dogs and cats and stuff, obviously they have no idea what the fuck you're doing, and it's hard for them to understand, like, hey, I'm trying to help you, so like, please don't make my life fucking impossible.
You can't win, Zach.
No. But that's okay. You know, as much as I'll sit here and like be like, oh, I got scratched by a dog.
Exactly like that.
I got scratched by a dog. I do love my job, and like, you know, yes. I'll sit here and make jokes and shit, but like, that's not because I hate my job. It's just because it's kind of funny.
Well, you get every job you have something you hate about it.
Yeah.
Things you don't like about it. You can't have the perfect job ever. Even your dream job, you'll have things you don't like about it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, it's just kind of like like you said, those mild inconveniences, like getting scratched up by a dog and just kind of like having to go and clean it up. And I'm like, God damn it, you little shit. And like the scars that I have are from like the tiniest little French bulldog. And it's so funny because it wasn't even like, you know, me holding them down and like holding on for dear life. Like they were just wiggling around and just kind of being wobbly, and then that happened, and it was kind of annoying. But also, by the way, for the people who don't understand what I do, like, I'm a surgical assistant, and so
for animals,
yeah. So I will be the person who is like holding them while they're putting in like an IV or, you know, doing vaccines or doing shots or anything like that.
Yes.
And doing like surgery prep type things. And so, you know, we're not just like operating on them. No anesthesia.
No.
That's not what we do. So it's never really that bad when we have cases where like people get scratched or anything like that. It's usually just like they're scared
Yes.
And they respond because they're scared. And it's like, dude, I totally get it. Like, I understand. It's just mildly inconvenient.
Yeah, come on. Can you let's be reasonable here now. Come on, dog.
Literally, come on, dog. But yeah, it's really funny when I have those moments where it's like, you know, sometimes it feels like I'm holding on for dear life because, you know, I'll have like a 95-pound German Shepherd trying to like run away while it's on a table. And I'm like, please don't do that. Like, I don't want you to fall.
Yeah,
please just stay. I don't know how I started talking about work, but like, That's
okay. We're talking about just like having a relaxing time, just kind of venting and stuff whenever we need to. You know, it's the end of the week, you know.
Yeah.
Whenever we record these, just gotta talk about things if you want to talk about it, though we can't get too specific, you know. It's just nice, you know, because usually, I don't know why I clear my throat while I said usually. You know, you never really get a person to talk about your job to sometimes. I mean, sometimes you do. You talk about it to your parents if you'd like to and stuff like that, and I do as well if ever I need to. Although a job like a part-time boba shop job doesn't necessarily arise the most conversations. It's like compared to yours, I suppose.
Yeah.
And at this point, I've worked so much that anything that's ever happened or that will happen and can happen has happened.
Yeah.
So it's like, yep, here we go. Or at least a variant will happen, you know? And I'm like, I'm not surprised by it. So whatever. I keep my expectations realistic.
Yeah.
So I'm never absurdly pissed at work because, I mean, I'd get pissed, but it wouldn't like ruin my day because I keep my expectations realistic.
Yeah.
So I don't upset myself. That being said, wasn't expecting this, Zach. To cut my finger somehow mysteriously.
That's bullshit.
It's still bullshit. Maybe it's because I was handling the can afterwards. I don't know. But it's upsetting, Zach. That much. But as far as like, I don't know, like dropping a drink or something or getting yelled at a customer, you know, the monitor's cut off. I need to turn off the monitor sleep thing. Anyways, you know, you know, that happens and I'm like, I'll get pissed at the moment, but then, you know, it's the type of thing that you'll just forget in like a day or two, you know?
Right.
Those type of things don't really matter to me. So when I think about it like that, I'm like, okay, I'll probably just forget about this next week, you know? Then I don't get too mad about it. And I think that's the best mindset that's the best advice I can give to someone who maybe has a job or a workflow of which consists of a lot of inconveniences that may happen.
Yeah.
So if that does happen, just be like, okay, it happened. You know, I was waiting for it to happen today, this week or something, and it happened.
Yeah.
All good. It's whatever. Just go home, play vid games, watch anime, and then tomorrow, next day, next week, you'll probably forget that day even happened.
Yeah.
And that's the best advice I can give to someone who, you know, maybe having a bad day. We all have bad days.
Yeah.
But we forget about our bad days.
Yeah. And when you're new to a job, like I am, you know, I've been working there for like 2.5 months or something like that. You know, you haven't really had those experiences of like, you know, oh, this is what happens, you know, when shit goes sideways. And so just kind of learning those things can be rough sometimes, just because obviously you're put in a situation you've never been in before.
Sure.
But you know, it was kind of funny after the week that I had, you know, one of the lead technicians was like, yeah, this week was kind of like trial by fire. You know, it's like it was a very chaotic, crazy week, and you know that really shows the extent of how chaotic it can get. But you know, we made it through it, and we only got a couple scuffs along the way, which was good. And there was also this tiny little kitten that was in. So the surgery area is kind of separated from like the ER treatment area, and so you have to walk through ER treatment to get to the surgery place, and so out in in treatment, there was this tiny little kitten that was just the cutest damn thing you ever did see. And so I'm pretty sure all of the people, including our surgeon, went out and they were like, I need some kitty cat serotonin. And they went out and they were just playing with the cat. And, you know, that's just kind of one of those moments where it's like, yeah. It can't be that bad. And, you know, it's just cool to be in the position where I can have a job that like that. It's fresh out of school, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, it's a serious job.
Yes, it is.
Like
of course.
Like a big boy job. And I guess I didn't really realize it until a little bit more recently. Like, wow, I actually like it's kind of scary.
Yeah, you have a job.
Yeah.
Not like a part-time job like me.
Well, and I mean, not necessarily just that. It's like, you know, I'm in medicine. And not only that, but I'm dealing with surgery. So like sterile stuff and like all of that. And so that's when you get into that area where it's like, oh shit, this is actually like kind of scary.
Yeah. But I think, you know, the more you do it, the more natural you'll get at it. And it'll just be kind of like, you know, it might become a good feeling that, you know, it is a very important job that you have to do, you know, for the sake of lives.
Yeah.
And you're able to, you know, for someone who might be panicking, you know, their pet is in danger of some sort, you know?
Yeah.
And you'll be like, calm down. It's okay. We'll get it through. And then you just do the thing that you need to do. You know, the thing that you're specialized in, the thing that they're afraid to do, of course. I mean, they're not even certified to do it, you know?
Yeah.
You have that specialty, you do it and you give it back. And then, you know, everything works out.
Yeah.
And to that much, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. And I don't want you to think that I'm sitting here like, oh, I have a real job. You know, like I don't mean that at all. It's just kind of interesting to take that self-reflective type of mentality and just kind of sit and really think about the things that I do on my day-to-day when I'm at work. Just because, you know, it's not like a normal 9 to 5 type thing. It's definitely a little bit different. And I guess for me, it became really normal because, you know, my mom works in the medical field. My brother works in the medical field. You know, my dad was a police officer. And so this type of thing just kind of sounds like a normal day-to-day 9 to 5 type thing for me. But I'm slowly starting to realize that it's not. Yeah. And so I kind of forget that at times, you know, people are curious, like, what did you do at work? And I'm like, oh, you know, it wasn't that big of a deal. We just had, you know,
a surgery.
We just had 3 surgeries in one day, 2 of which were happening at the same time, in 2 different operating rooms.
To me, that's like, oh, jeez, you know, but to you, that's an everyday, you know, something that you wouldn't that wouldn't bat your eye, I suppose.
Well, yeah.
I mean, 2 surgeries in one day is pretty wild, as you explained, but to me, a surgery is pretty wild, you know? So different scenarios.
Yeah. And I think it's very fascinating to see what it looks like from an outside perspective for sure. Because the way that I think about surgery and the way that like other people outside of medicine think about surgery are 2 entirely different things. Like I'm sitting here going through like the order of operations, like things that I need to do. And like, you know, it's just kind of like, oh, this is routine. Like we do this all the time. Like it's not that big of a deal. And then, you know, I'll talk to these pets owners and they're like kind of freaking out a little bit. And I'm like, it's okay. We got you.
Yeah.
We do this kind of stuff all the time. And I guess to kind of put into perspective, so I work basically for a specialty surgeon. So he does a lot of like orthopedic surgeries, a lot of like putting in implants and like doing all that kind of stuff. And so when I went to my externship, which was basically it's an internship. I don't know why they called it an externship, but
why not? Maybe it's because why do they call it externship? That makes no sense. You're leaving?
You're leaving school to go do work for school.
I guess so, but internship, I guess so. In the context of school, sure. I was just thinking of like intern as in being inside the job itself. Extern meaning when you're leaving the job, but then you got the job. That is very confusing.
I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna call it an internship. So
yes,
when I was at my internship, we had a surgery called a TPLO, which is going to be just jargon. Tibial plateau leveling osteotomy. It's basically for a torn ACL.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So basically, it's to help repair a torn ACL, or it's an ACL in humans. It's called a cruciate ligament in dogs. And so this is the surgery that we do like 4 times a week. And so at my externship, that was like a big surgery, you know, like that was a super major surgery. And then I got to my job and it was like, you know, they did 4 of them in a week. And it's just like, oh, difference between an externship and an internship.
Are you going to read it out loud for the class?
No, I don't want to.
Well, okay, then I will. The difference between I can't even read it. Zach's too far away from me.
The difference between an externship and an internship is that an externship is typically an unpaid shadowing of a respected industry professional, during which the extern will observe daily duties, while an internship is a paid or voluntary position with an organization for someone who is learning the profession and industry, typically spanning a few months.
So internship is like learning how the business works. Externship is doing it, I suppose.
And it continues to say that externships are typically shorter than an internship. So that definitely makes sense with the context of what I was doing. But
yeah, I mean, if you're an intern at the place that you're doing, you're probably just giving them coffee. Probably not helping them with the actual surgeries, you know?
Yeah. Oh, dude, scrubbing in for surgery is so fucking interesting. Like it.
I bet, honestly, because you have like no experience, at least doing it immediately, like doing an actual one, you know?
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, suit up. And you're like, oh shit. It's like, I guess you kind of, you get that immediate, like, this is happening type of thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And when they said I was going to be scrubbing in for, this was at my externship.
Scrubbing in is in like dressing down to do the actual surgery, I suppose, right?
Yeah. So I would assist the veterinarian with the surgery while I'm scrubbed in and sterile. And that's fucking bizarre. Like, I don't know, like I'm sure people have seen like videos or shows where they like scrub in for surgery and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, you know, they seem so cool and composed. And I realize that the reason why they seem so cool and composed is because they've done it all the time. And so, you know, I was sitting there like scrubbing in and washing my hands and doing all that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to fuck this up. And
wait, does scrubbing in not mean wearing scrubs?
No. So
you mean like cleaning, like sterilizing yourself?
Yes. So basically you clean your hands. Well, I
guess it could also mean putting the scrubs on, right?
Yeah. So there's you put on okay. So the order of operations is you clean your hands with well, it depends on the place, but it's a chlorhexidine hand soap. So it's basically like an antiseptic type of hand soap that basically kills all the germs on your hands and does like a really, really good job of cleaning them. And then there's this other stuff that you put on that is another type of cleaning agent to make sure that your hands are like as clean as possible. And then you put on a gown. It kind of looks like the gowns that you would wear like when you're at the hospital, you know, the one that goes on top, wraps around the back. But they're long sleeves. And so you kind of keep your hands inside of the sleeves because the gown itself has been sterilized. And so then you put on gloves that have also been sterilized. And then you're like, you know,
all right, I'm super clean, boy.
Yeah. You're suited up and you're just standing there like, I have so much power. And so, yeah, when I scrubbed in for It was just it was a spay. Like it was a very routine surgery. I was at a like a general medicine vet clinic over by my house. And so it was very routine, you know, like it was just a spay, not that big of a deal. But I was in there. I was like doing stuff, and it was fucking terrifying because I'll show you like, so the posture that you use when you're scrubbed in is you kind of can't touch anything unless it's sterile. So you kind of have to stand there like this and just try not to fucking touch anything. And of course, that's when your mask starts to slip down, and that's when your shoe gets untied and just like all of the worst shit possible. That's when it happens. And so I realize that I've kind of accidentally gone on a tangent, but
no, it's okay.
It's super fascinating to be in there sweating balls, just like under all the bright lights and everything. And so the stuff that I do at my job is not necessarily like scrubbing in and hands-on helping with the surgery, because the surgeries that we do are super complicated. And so, you know, you would want to make sure that it goes smoothly and all of that fun stuff. And so what I do is a lot of the prep. And so like, you know, say we're doing a surgery on a leg, you know, you got to shave the leg, scrub the leg, get the operating room all set up, and then do a sterile scrub on the leg. And so what I've been doing a lot recently is I've been doing the sterile scrub on the leg right before surgery. And so, you know, I get to wear the sterile gloves and like feel like I'm a doctor and cool and all that fun stuff. And so, yeah, it's been really, really fun, and it's been cool to just learn more and be able to do more. Because, you know, this is my first veterinary job of any sort, really.
Right. And
so just to kind of be able to have my hands in so many different things is really, really cool. But yeah, I don't know where that went, but
no, it's cool because, I mean, to me, it's like the full thing, you know, the full shebang, the full experience of going out of school, getting into the field that you went to school for, and pursuing that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something I kind of missed because obviously I'm taking a break from school right now.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of doing my own thing right now. And I still work at a part-time job, although I work a lot of hours in it, but I'm close to full-time on it. And that's kind of rough, but it's okay, you know. Yeah. But here I am doing the things that I need to do. So it's whatever. I mean, obviously I do plan on finishing school. As much as I joke about quitting, dropping out of school. I'm not a dropout necessarily. I'm just taking my time because I feel like in college, you can literally finish school whenever. I mean, we've explained before, like there's people fresh out of high school and there's people in their older ages, you know, in college. And to me, that makes me think that you don't necessarily ever drop out of school.
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of if you decide that you want to finish school, and then you can decide literally at any point in your life if you want to, unless you decide I'm not going back to school. At that point, then you can consider yourself a dropout.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it was really cool because the program that I was in for vet medicine, I had people there who were, you know, freshly 18 all the way to, you know, people who were like the same age as my parents.
Right.
And it was just everything in between. Yeah. And so it was really, really cool to just kind of see people from all walks of life being interested in the same thing and pursuing an education in it. And like, you know, I know of people in their 40s who are like, I want to go back to school and get a degree. And it's like, dude, fuck yeah. Go do that.
Do it, man.
It's super sick.
I think so we haven't had the education system yet. This is the episode yet, which will be soon.
Yeah.
And I feel like when that happens, they might think I'm going to be a hypocrite, but I need to set a stage first in that it's not that I dislike schooling.
Right.
That is not the case. I think that school is not for everybody. As far as college goes, high school and before is a different story.
Yeah.
As far as college, now I'm just speaking on college, university, that is. It may not be for everyone. That's all. And for some people, they may not need it, and that's fine. Some people, they do need it, and that's fine. And there are certain fields that do require that certificate of which that makes sense. Like I've mentioned before, I'd prefer if a doctor working on me had a doctor's, degree or whatever, rather than not. If I had to choose, I suppose, right?
Yeah. And if I can make a quick point, just so I don't forget, it's interesting because we talk about the magic phrase, use case.
Yeah.
We use that phrase all the time, but it does have some sort of implications with schooling outside of high school. And when you're going to general education, obviously, you're just there to get it done. But once you're outside of that, then you can decide if this is something that you want to do. And if it's a field that you want to go into that requires schooling, medicine being a big one, then you kind of have to decide, like, hey, is this something that I want to do? Is this something that I'm willing to invest my time and money into? And if it is, then fuck yeah, do it. But outside of that, if you're trying to start a career online, or if you're trying to start a career in something that doesn't necessarily need a degree, there are classes that you can take that don't require a degree. Like there were photography classes at Clark that I wanted to take for a long time. I just honestly wasn't there long enough.
Right.
But take classes that will help you along in the career that you want to be in. I don't know why I'm talking to you. I feel like I should be talking to them, but because you already know what I'm talking about.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Audio listeners don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, what do you mean talk to them? What do you mean? Oh, you're talking to us, right? No, I understand, because, that's why people go to trade school, right?
Right.
Because they do there you go. There it is. Zach. Zach is doing the thing. He's doing the thing.
The Italian
That's
hands.
why, people go to school or whatever, university, do the boring shit. And now, okay, when they go to trade school, that's when they decide, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to fully immerse myself into this thing and not have the distraction or the annoyance of being in a public institution like that. Well, I mean, I guess those are technically public institutions as well, but something like a university, which is, it's to each their own. It's fine. Some people may prefer to be in like university setting, but one can argue that a trade school, I don't know if one can argue, it's kind of a fact, a trade school will have more of those resources towards that field than a university.
That is the coolest fucking part. And the reason why I love trade schools so much is because I got to see from, not necessarily firsthand, but I got to see Jackson go through a trade school, because he went to school for machining. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever, just because he was able to get the hands-on experience that he needed. He got all of the technical knowledge that he needed to just have a baseline to be able to go into the field and work. And that's what he's doing now. I mean, he has 2 different jobs right now, but he's working as a machinist right now.
Yes, and then he will soon be able to turn that machining,
yeah,
into an actual job, so he won't have to juggle 2 jobs.
Yeah.
He's just getting in. He'll be able to do that at some point.
Yeah.
But that's all he needed to do. Well, I say all I needed to do like it was easy. Of course it was hard. School, machining school, trade school or not, it's still difficult. But he didn't necessarily have to juggle through the hoops of what a university college is, And I think for me, I think that's where I lost my mojo, because, and this is not to do with the school I went to. I loved my university for the most part, and I think it's, like I say before, I'm not against school. I think university is important for what it is, but there are some gripes I have with it, and we'll talk about that. We have to save it, Zach.
I know.
We have to save it.
I know we have to save it, but they're like we're kind of like on that line.
Maybe we should just start staring away. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll swerve away, but it. All I just want to say is that before, to preface that episode, that episode whenever it comes out, we are not against school.
Yeah.
And when that episode comes out, it's going to really sound like we're against school. What it is an episode of us complaining about what schooling is all. Not necessarily that it should be abolished.
Right.
Or anything like that, but that there are some gripes into it. And instead of listening to what a bunch of politicians think about school, what do a bunch of people who are in school think about it? And not necessarily just like, oh, I hate school, I hate doing math. Not those type of people. People who has thought about it, people who has experienced it, and people who have legitimate concerns about their experience.
Yeah.
Not just I hate science. I don't like school. You know, I don't want to do my homework. We're not those type of people. Well, I mean, maybe we are, but we're more than that, you know?
Yeah.
We're not the teenagers that hate our fucking science teacher, you know?
Yeah. And we will be able to have a really, really interesting dynamic because Jackson went to a trade school. Alec got his GED, and then didn't go to college. I think he's been talking about going to college.
Yeah, he has been.
But you know, you started college and you're taking a break and trying to decide if that's something that you want to do. And then I have gone through some schooling and I'm planning on going back.
Right.
And I think that would be a really, really fascinating dynamic to be able to sit down and actually talk about the nitty gritty types of things, because, you know, there's only so much that you and I can come up with off the top of our head. But just having more people being a part of the conversation, I think that'll be super, super cool. And I can't wait for that episode to come out.
I think that's just the most realistic scenario. Just a group of friends who all have different types of experiences in school.
Yeah.
Not a bunch of politicians who've all taken 4 to 6 years of school.
Yeah.
You know, talking about whether there's issues in school or not. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Or
I'm joking, by the way. I'm not the type of person like, oh, fuck politicians. I don't care that much. You know, they're doing whatever. I'm fine with politicians. They do the things that I don't care about. So it's whatever. Let them do what they do. But
or the people who, you know, went to college in like the 70s and 80s and they're sitting there like, you can work a part-time job and pay for school. And I'm like, bitch, no the fuck up. You can.
No, you can't. You know, it's yeah, we do have to save it, but that's all I want to say. I just want to preface, you know, I don't want just a bunch of people being like, you hate school, don't you? Oh, maybe after watching this episode, yeah, I'm going to drop out of college. No, don't. No, that's not. Our small podcast should not be the reason that you tell your parents why you stopped going to college, you know? That should not be it. But what I want out of what if it can be an influence in the fact that we brought up a bunch of ideas that maybe you're on the fence about it and you were considering it like deeply. I think if you want to why am I giving advice on dropping out of college? No, I'm not giving advice on dropping out of college. What I want you to understand is if you were considering it, don't just be like, fuck school, I'm going to drop out. Yeah. That is not why you drop out of college. You drop out of college because you think about it.
Yeah.
And you consider it and you talk to people, you talk to your parents, you talk to your family, you talk to your counselors, you talk to your advisors. You think about it and you think about what school means to you.
And I would like to make something abundantly clear as well, is that any topic that we bring up on this show, like I don't want to give off the impression that I'm trying to convince anybody to do or think a certain way.
Not at all.
And you know, I just want to be a different perspective. I've seen the world through my own two eyeballs. And, you know, this is just my perspective coming from the history that I've had, the way that I think about things. And I think that that's kind of important because there are a lot of people in this world who are just trying to sit there and convince you of something. And that's the opposite of what I want to do. I want to be able to give information that I've gathered to be able to be a part of the conversation so that if, you know, like, for example, for the dropping out of college example, you know, I can tell you what my college experience was like. I can tell you how I feel about potentially dropping out of college until you're ready and until you've made the decision on what you want to do for college. But that's just me, you know, like I only have the experience that I've had and the conversations that I've had with other people. Like, that's all I got.
Yeah.
And so everybody has a different story. Everyone's in school for a different reason. Everyone does anything for their own reasons. And so, you know, I just wanted to make that abundantly clear because I'll say some really outlandish shit. And I don't want people to think that I am sitting here trying to convince you or them that anything. Like you should watch anime. No, or you should drop out of college. Don't do that. First of all, don't do it immediately.
This is what we're saying. You know, there's way too many factors for just to listen to two dudes and then be like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Use us as a factor in your influence to decide if you want to or not. Not that these two dudes said it, I'm gonna do it. say these two said it, and I'm going to put that into my decision of whether I should or not.
Right.
That's all it is.
They give me resources and places where I can go to be able to get a greater understanding of what I'm thinking or what I should do.
I think it's just because as the newer generation, because I think even though in more generations, there are like one or two new generations after us at this point.
Yeah.
But I consider us a newer generation in the fact that we are the first generation to start breaking away from the idea that you have to go to school in order to obtain a career.
Yeah.
We are the first generation to start that. And then now we see the newer generations kind of embed that.
Right.
Right. So I think for us, there's a lot of fight and there's a lot of trying to convince our previous generation, which would be our parents, right? And our grandparents, that, we don't need to go to school. I mean, it's not that we don't necessarily want to go to school, or it's more that we don't have to go to school if we want to obtain a certain career set.
Yeah. And I think that we're talking about school too much
we are now.
For this to be a preface to another episode that's going to be like an hour and a half.
Okay, then we'll stop. I just want... I'll end that part, and whether we continue the episode or not, we'll see. But I'll end this school rant, this preface to the big boy episode with, the thing that helped me for deciding that I wanted to take a break from college and university, that is it was talking to people.
Yeah.
Like I was so stressed towards the end of my school year before I decided to take a break. And I didn't know what to do, and I was in disarray, and I wasn't speaking to anybody. But the thing that helped me the most was speaking to some family members, speaking to my advisors and counselors, and that took so much weight off of my shoulders that I almost wanted to cry whenever I spoke to them, So what I want and what I can hopefully be for people is to be that second type of voice in their head to let them know, it's okay.
Yeah.
If school is making you stressed out, it's not working out, or maybe it's not working out now, maybe it may work out later. Who knows? That's for you to decide. But I think if what I'm saying helps to take weight off of someone else's shoulders, just even by listening to what I'm saying, then I'm glad. I'm happy that I can do that for them.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all I want to be for people.
Right.
Because it helped me substantially. It helped me. I had this massive snowball effect of stress and anxiety.
Yeah.
And then just simply talking about it made that snowball smaller to the point where it disappeared.
Yeah. And it's so hard when you are just being crushed by the weight of the expectations of the people around you. Because, like you said, we were kind of raised by those people who were like, you need to go to school, you need to go to college, you need to get a degree, you need to get a 9-to-5, and you need to work. And you need to work your ass off. And, just kind of having those expectations. And another thing too is like, a lot of the time when I was younger, it was like the decisions were being made for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I'm a grown ass adult now, and I came to the realizations that obviously, my parents, I love my parents. My parents are just trying to look out for me. And so, the decisions that I make and the things that I talk to them about, obviously they just want what's best for me. But that can sometimes turn into them trying to make decisions for me as an adult, and just kind of coming to that understanding, like, it's okay if they don't agree with what you do, what you're doing, what you do, the decisions that you make to a certain extent, as long as you understand, like, this is your decision and your decision alone. And if this ends up crashing and burning, then you're going to have to deal with the consequences of that. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. Shit happens. You have to make mistakes to be able to learn. And So it gets really, really hard to, especially when you're talking about school and when you're talking about taking a break from school, because you're sitting there like, oh my God, my parents are going to be fucking pissed at me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like you were going to school in the first place just because they wanted you to. And now you're sitting here, you know, losing your fucking mind over like, oh my God, I feel like I am so stressed that I could just curl up into a ball and cry, you know? And then you meet those people, you talk to those people who understand that pressure that you're feeling, and they're like, hey, it's all right. Like, it's okay to make these mistakes. It's okay to not go to school if you're not ready, you know? And it's okay if you fall over. You just have to brush yourself off and just keep moving and keep pushing yourself to where you want to be, not where other people want you to be. Because there are so many situations where there will be other people's expectations of you, and you feel like you have to live up to that. But you and I are both at the age, and I'm sure that a lot of people watching this are kind of at the age where it's like you get to make decisions because you feel like it's the right thing to do, and you feel like that'll make you happy. You feel like it is something that you were like born to do. And it may not be even remotely close to what the people around you expected you to do. Like, I'm in fucking animal medicine, you know? Anybody who I would have talked to like 3 years ago, that would have been the last thing that they would have thought that I would be doing right now. But it's something that I'm passionate about. It's something that I enjoy doing. And it's something that I'm going to keep pursuing because I love it. And the same thing goes with you with, you know, your video editing, with the podcast, with everything that you've been doing online. Like, you're trying to make a name for yourself in this space, and you do a fucking good job doing it. And, you know, I think that this is something that you were born to do because, you know, like you said, you've been editing for, you know, like a week or two, like 6 years,
you know, a couple days.
Yeah. But, you know, you've honed your craft in a way, and you've dedicated so much time and effort into it. And like, you know, it just makes me so fucking happy just for you to make that executive decision. Like, all right, I'm going all in. And I feel like my exact response to that was like, fuck yeah, Arthur, get it. You know, don't quit your day job until this becomes your day job. But I believe that you can get there, and I believe that I can get there. I believe that, you know, if you set your mind to it and you don't just drop everything and go 100% into it, you know, I believe that there are so many things that you can do as long as you have that stupid job that you absolutely hate, that you're excited to just take a shit on your manager's desk and be like, I'm leaving. You know, keep that job and keep working there just for the sheer fact that obviously you need food and gas and all of that fun stuff, but also so that you can just be like, all right, fuck you guys. I can now officially pursue my dream and do what I love to do, and I can make a living doing it. Like that, I think that moment for you is going to be the most fucking satisfying thing in the world. And I'm excited for it. And I'm going to be stoked to see what happens once we get to that point. But, you know, it's really hard to try to give life advice to somebody who is kind of at the point where we're at right now.
Sure.
Because the world's a shit show. You know, the job market is super fucking bizarre. You know, it's hard to find a job that doesn't make you want to blow your brains out. And you have a lot of people around you who are trying to tell you what you should and shouldn't do. And if I could offer one piece of advice, it would be, well, I mean, this is just kind of like an obvious thing, but find a job you like and you'll never work a day in your life. You'll have bad days, even if you love your job. You'll have good days, even if you hate your job. That's just the way world works. And, you know, it'll definitely, your hard work and you gritting your teeth and just getting shit done just for the sake of being able to eat at the end of the day, that will pay off. I 100% believe that. And I don't know how we got to this point, but it's very wholesome and I love it.
It's great. It's great. Thank you for that. Thank you for your speech.
Well, this is
it was great.
This is one of those conversations that I wish someone else would have had with me.
That's what I'm saying.
And so if I can even just speak it into the ether, if I can speak it into a microphone, and somebody who really, really needs to hear some shit like that, if I can just make it so that they can hear it, so that they know, like, hey, everything is going to be all right. That is why I went on that fucking tangent, because I was just thinking about it and just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to know about this, even if it's, somebody who has his shit together.
I don't say I have my shit together, but I've gone through this entire thing that we've been talking about already. I have gone through it. I had that moment where I was really on the fence about what school meant to me, and I finally just made that decision for myself, and now I'm so much more happier. Yeah. I may not have the career that I'm not like the most popular YouTuber ever, but that's the end goal, sure, But for now, the only thing that I'm focused on is making sure that my mental health is correct.
Yeah.
Well, that was weird wording. My mental health is healthy. Good? Fine? Good. My mental health is good, Words. I want to, as long as right now, I know that I'm not in a stress ball. And frankly, I will be in those moments, but as long as I know that I can probably wake up another day and that stress ball will be gone.
Yeah.
Then that means something to me. And for now, for this moment right now, that just means me not being in school. I will go back to school though. I'm not calling myself a dropout, although I'll make jokes about it, of course, but I'm not a dropout. Not yet, because I haven't decided that I don't want to go to school yet.
Yeah.
And maybe at some point I do decide that, but I haven't made that decision yet, so I cannot call myself a dropout. So,
I think it's very similar to pressing pause on something.
Like this. No, I won't do it.
Pressing pause on a moment in your life, and you're like, I'll be back for this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to finish this episode. Like, we'll get there. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And then you walk away, live your life a little, and then come back to it.
Yeah, I'll finish Violet Evergarden, guys. Don't worry. I'll do it. We'll do it. It's all good,
Oh, dude, I'm so pissed. I haven't finished Parasite yet, and I really want to.
I thought you did, because how many episodes are there?
24.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like 12, because I checked. I saw the history, and it was like, you got to episode 12, and I was like, oh, there you go, or something like that.
Yeah, no, there's 24 episodes, but
gotcha.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that was a very wholesome way to kind of wrap up the episode.
I think so.
But thanks for going on that emotional roller coaster with me, and thank you guys for listening. It's definitely very interesting to talk about this type of stuff in a podcast atmosphere, and I would definitely be interested to see what the people listening at home think of episodes like this, because we didn't have a topic, we just kind of went off.
Sure.
And so yeah, we have links and shit down below, obviously.
Click them. They make tabs. Tabs are cool. You should try it. Click on them and you'll see a tab. It's cool.
Yeah. I have socials. I'm going to try to post another YouTube video this weekend.
Let's go. Check it out. I'm going to try and get a YouTube video too soon. I mean, I technically will, because I didn't edit. I did a Call of Duty edit. So technically I will have an upload, but for an upload, I'm working on one, so it'll come out. But I got things I'm working on. I'm still editing that wedding video, Zach, and I still have to edit the pictures for Alvin's graduation that I haven't done it yet. And Alvin graduated, like 6 months ago? Or not 6 months ago, sorry. What is it, June? Whatever the fuck that is.
4 months ago?
4 months ago, and I still haven't edited those videos. I'm a wreck, but we're getting there, It's all good.
If you need someone to edit those photos, let me know. I can edit.
I might have to, honestly, because I'm like, even just for something simple, like I might. It doesn't even have to be that good, but I just have so much on my plate. I'm like, fuck, dude.
Yeah. If I can make the time for it, I would definitely.
Maybe I might have to ask, but we'll see. Of course. By the time you watch this video, that decision will be made, and it's not your decision, so you don't have to worry about it. But it's my decision, and that's the whole theme of this episode, Zach. It's you and me and us, and we're different. It's all good. We make our decisions. Life is different for everybody. So you think of things, decide for yourself, but let people think about things before you decide.
Yeah.
Is all. That's the whole theme of this. Think. It's all good. Being an adult is hard.
It is.
Being a kid is hard.
The world is on fire. Everything sucks.
Being a human is hard. You know?
Yeah.
So don't let being a human being, don't let the fact of life put you down, because the fact of life will put everybody down.
Yeah.
At different levels, at different times, at different intervals. But at some point, you'll figure it out. So until that happens, and when you do figure it out, life will still suck anyway sometimes.
Yeah.
You don't win. Life fucking sucks, bro.
Yeah. And
fuck life.
We are all human. We all make mistakes. We all do dumb shit. We all say dumb shit. You just gotta kind of roll with the punches and move on with your life.
And that is all.
That is all. Thank you guys very much for watching again. We
already said it, Zach.
We got coffee, maybe Patreon.
Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? It's in the description. Just look down there and you'll see if it's there. Hey, there you go.
Who knows?
There you go. Subscribe and like and all that shit. I think that's it.
Parting words.
Oh, you hear that shit and it, bro. Let's go.
I love you guys.